Hello everyone and welcome to LS1 Discovery, a series of short videos by the LS1 team where we will cover some of the core functionality of LS1. My name is Andries Roux and I'm the product director for LS1. In today's video I'm going to show you how to set up taxes for LS1. The tax calculation mechanism in LS1 is fairly sophisticated in the sense that an item can have a multiple amount of taxes, and a store can also have a multiple amount of taxes, and when a tax calculation occurs, these different types of taxes are added up together and the final tax is calculated. I think probably the best way for us to explain this is to actually do a concrete example. So I'm going to go into first setting up a duty-free example where I'm going to create a fictional tax for a tourist customer and a duty-free store, which is an additional tax that they need to pay for items as opposed to the local nationals that only pay the standard tax. So first what I'm going to do is I'm going to create two tax codes. I've already created a standard European local tax, which is a 20% tax, and then I'm going to create this new additional tax, and I'm going to call it just my European tourist tax, which is going to be an additional 5%, and it's important to specify the day that this tax is activated. And I also need to specify a rounding, so I'm just going to choose nearest, and I'm just going to OK on that. So now I've got my two taxes. I've got my local tax, and what I'm going to charge the tourists is additional 5%. So now that I've got my two tax codes, the next thing that I'm going to do is create my two types of customers. I've already created one customer, which is the local customer, which has a European tax of 20%. I'm going to create another customer, and I'm going to call that the foreign customer, and the foreign customer will have two taxes that he needs to pay. First going to say the local tax, and secondly the European tourist tax. Then from here what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a tax group for my items. So I'm going to go on item group, and I'm going to call this duty-free items. So duty-free items will contain all the taxes that are possible on this particular item. And I know now that I'm going to have some foreign customers and some local customers, so I'm going to select both again for my item group. From here I'm going to go and assign a default tax group to the particular store, and to do that I will click on Sites, My Store, My Supermarket, and from the tax calculation I would say that the default tax calculation group is on the actual customer, and the tax group that I'm gonna select is for my foreign nationals. The reason why I'm selecting that is that I believe that most of my customers will be foreign customers, and so the default calculation will be the 20 plus 5%. Okay. So now I've got my tax calculation set on my store, but what I need to do is then go into my item. I'm going to just select the first available item, the dishwasher. And I'm going to select a tax group that belong to that item. And that's a duty-free item. It's the duty-free item that I set it up in the store. So what will happen is the following. If I've got two tax codes set up on the item like I've done here before, and I've got a customer that also has a dual tax code set up, like my foreign customer, the system will then overlap these two taxes and calculate a tax based on both of these tax codes selected. If there is a local resident, then he only has one tax code on them, and the overlap will only be the one tax code that they have in common, which is the 20%. This will become more obvious once we actually do a transaction on the point of sale. The last thing that I need to do and make sure that all my new taxes are updated correctly is to actually go onto the Tools, Options, Store Management, and Recalculate Prices. What this will do is it will go through all the item prices and reassign the tax codes that you've now applied to the system. So if I now go back to my item, I'm going to choose the first available item. Let's say dishwasher. And I'm going to assign a tax group to this item. So this item is in my duty-free store, and I'm going to select duty-free item. I get a pop-up that I'm changing the tax group and that I will have to recalculate the prices. I'm going to yes on that. Once I've assigned my tax group to the particular item, I should be able to go into prices. And you'll remember that this is a duty-free item, so it has a tax of 20% and an additional of 5% in some cases. And because I set on my store that the default customer is also the foreign customer, it should be 25%. So if I just make this 100 just to make sure that everything is working, this calculates to 125, and it should sell it as a default on the point of sale. To test this, I'm going to create two customers. I am going to have a standard customer, and I've already got some customers in the system. It's Brad and Sons, and they have a tax code assigned to them, which is the local customer. So it should be the 20% that is calculated for them. Then I also have a customer, and I just created a duty-free customer. Customer won't be able or won't provide a name, so I'm just going to call it duty-free customer. And on details, I'm going to select this as a foreign customer. I save on that. So we're back in the point of sale. And let's test this for both our customers. The first customer that's going to walk in is Brad and Son. That's a local customer and should have a 20% tax on it. I select the item that I want to sell. And you can see that the total amount is 120 and the tax amount is 20, and the line item is $100 or euros. So this is correct. It calculates as a 20% tax. Let's go ahead and edit void this transaction. I choose the second customer, which is the duty-free customer. Now this customer should have two taxes applied to it. And again I choose the dishwasher. And now the price calculates to 125. The line item is still a cost of 100 euros. But the tax now is the 20% plus the 5%, which is 25%. And that concludes taxes in LS1. Thank you for viewing this demonstration video. For more LS1 product videos, please visit YouTube and type in LS1 tutorials. You can also visit our website, lsretail.com, and from products you can navigate to LS1 to find more information about the product and also purchase information. A free trial is also available for those interested. Thank you again, and we'd like to hear from you very soon.